I'm Linda Murken, and I'm running for Story County Supervisor, and I want to thank all of you. This is just amazing. All the people who have come here tonight, everybody who helped out with food, with beverages, just, setup, donations. It's all just wonderful. I just have to tell you that it's one of the greatest things about running for office is the support that people give you. And I'm still in awe of it. And that, I know people always say that, it humbles and all that. No, I'm just in absolute awe of how people will support you when you decide you want to run for office and tell them what you want to do. So thank you to all of you. So, what has the Murken campaign been doing? Oh, I don't know. A lot of you know. I think I was trying to count up the parades because summer's the parade season. I think 7 so far. We've been in 7 parades so far, and a lot of people have walked with us. We have 2 parades coming up this weekend. We have Lincoln Highway Days, and we have Huxley Prairie Fest parade. The same day, the same time. Yeah, I'm not going to be in both. I'm going to be in the Lincoln Highway Days. If anybody would like to walk for me in Huxley, carry a sign, maybe some candy, just let me know, and I'll make sure you get the signs and you get whatever you need to do that. That would be really nice to, even though I can't be both places, for people in Huxley to see that there are people who are supporting me in the county. So, and, does everybody know who Carrie Katz is? Carrie will be here in a little bit, and I want to introduce her to you. And the reason is that she is my voluntary campaign manager. And she is doing a whole lot of organizing right now. And one thing she is doing is she is putting together training and organizing folks who are out canvassing for me. And we're going to have another training session the Wednesday after Labor Day. But if you would like to canvass for me, she is the person. Here she is. Come on. Everybody. This is. Okay. I'm just telling them who you are. Okay. You want to talk? No. You sure? Oh, okay. To get hold of Carrie, if you want to come to our training or want to help us with door knocking, it's really easy. It's murkencampaign@gmail.com. Murken. Yep. Okay. So we got it. So get hold of Carrie if you want to get on our team. Thank you. Okay. And her children, Elodie and Ember, have been helping out tonight also. So. Door knocking, canvassing, whatever you want to call it, it's the key to local elections. I've been told that. I believe that. It is very meaningful. As a candidate, how do you know what's going on unless you go out and you talk to the residents of the county? I can't even tell you how many times people have thanked me for coming to their door. They have thanked me for running. They have thanked me for taking the time. And that, that's huge, because that also, besides your support, just the support of people keeps you going. And you learn things. And you know about issues, you know a certain amount, you start talking to people, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy really knows about water quality. I better start taking notes. Or this woman is dealing with a child with mental disabilities in a home and she can't get daycare. Can I find something? Can we do something for that? How just that when you realize that it's not just statistics, it's not just bullet points in your brochure. It's people out there who are dealing with these problems. And that's why I know Loris ran for office, and that's why I'm running for office, because we care about that. So I was thinking, what do we need to do to win? What do we need to win on November 6th? I've got a list, and I'm looking at these notes, because if I don't have notes, I'm sorry. If I don't have notes, I'll talk forever. So they kind of keep me in MA anyway. Okay, but what do we need to win? Well, we need all the votes we can get. It's that simple. So then it's how do we get them? So we need all the voters who support progressive candidates and issues to vote. I did not say just Democrats. I'm talking to a lot of folks who, according to my little minivan tablet thing that I've got when I'm walking around, are no parties, registered no parties. But I've heard a lot of them say, I've had it with the Republican Party right now. And I've had it because of, and I'm not running against the president, but here's what happens. When the other people in the party at all levels of government who are Republicans don't do anything about it, don't call him out, don't say, that disgusts me, that appalls me, that's not my party. You know, voters know that. They hear the silence. Yes, and that's important. So we need to also to tell these voters that they don't have a straight ticket option anymore. Because I have seen that. I saw it in the primary in the county supervisor race. People didn't understand that they voted for 2 because you looked at the numbers and a lot of people did not vote for 2. So how that plays out in the general election, you know, we need to explain the ballot. And we also, because that's going to, I am convinced that the polls are going to be kind of crazy this year because still people will go out there and they won't know, they can't do straight ticket voting. They won't know who's on the ballot. They'll just think they're going to go fill in the oval and they're going to get in the booth and they're going to take a long time. So we're going to have some very long lines. So what I have been encouraging people to do is to consider voting absentee, consider going to the auditor's office to vote early, consider going to satellite to vote early. Do everything you can, because as somebody who worked the polls, there's nothing that is more discouraging when you're working those polls, trying to get people going through that line fast, and it's not moving, and you see people leaving. Because you want everybody to vote. That's why people volunteer. Well, volunteer, you get paid, but that's why people decide to be election officials on it, because they want everybody to vote who can vote. The other thing we need to explain about the ballot is that the county supervisor race, so this is for me and for Josh, county supervisor is the next to the last race on the front of the ballot. We need to explain that to people. You know, somebody suggested, is Ted still here? Ted Rasmussen's here. He's running for county treasurer. He came in after Selden announced it. We've been saying vote down ballot. Ted's idea is tell people to start from the bottom and vote up. And we said, well, bottoms up. I want to see those buttons. That's good. Okay. So what I've been saying to people is vote down ballot. I wear this pin whenever I go. Vote down ballot. And if I'm talking to somebody who's a Democrat and knows going to vote Democrat, I say, and vote for both. So if you're door knocking, if you're talking to people, that's kind of what my tagline, which I end with. Vote down ballot, vote for both. Remember that. So I talked about no party voters a little bit ago, but here's why it's important. Right now, 1st of August, registered voters in Story County, 32% Democrat, 28% Republican, 38% no party. We need no party voters to win this. And they want to hear from candidates. Okay. So we will definitely talk to them. We need to keep talking to them. We also need to talk about the issues that matter to voters. Mark has spoken eloquently about the need for better access to treatment for mental illness and for suicide prevention. I think we all know in this community that about a month ago, a 10-year-old girl in Nevada, little girl, took her life. And I hear about that a lot when I knock on doors. People say, what in the world? How a 10-year-old girl? They just can't believe it. And I really appreciated and admired her mother so much because she talked about it. It was a front page article in the Tribune. And I am thankful for the Tribune that they did that story because it's the thing about how do people, how do we get the stigma away from mental illness? We talk about it. We talk about it in our own families. We talk about it with people we know. And we continue to do that because then it's, oh, I didn't realize. I thought it was those people. Well, it's not those people. It's us. I'm particularly concerned for children. Why are we just now looking at the need for a children's mental health system in our regionalized system? That got done 8 years ago. 8 years ago, the legislation was passed that regionalized our mental health system. They gave 3 years to implement it. So it was 2010, so then 2013 it was implemented. So this year, Governor Reynolds sets a commission up to study the need for children's mental health services. I get angry when I just think about that. You know, okay, maybe it got left somewhere, but the fact that we're not there until now and we're studying drives me absolutely crazy. Mark also spoke about the nitrate and phosphorus going into our water. We have a nutrient reduction strategy plan that Bill Northey wrote about the other day in the Register, our former Secretary of Agriculture. And he said all the right things. There were a lot of platitudes, you know, but not the right things. We had to do cover crop system, and we're doing them all. But did he have a number? I think the only number I saw in the article was the number of chickens one guy was raising. I didn't see anything about nutrient reduction. And the problem is that we're not collecting data because people don't really want to know. Right? When only 3% of our land that should be in cover crops had cover crops a year ago when Practical Farmers and Iowa Environmental Council did a study. It was ridiculous. And no, they don't want to know because it's going to take a lot more. It's going to take money. It's probably going to take more than a truly voluntary plan. Mark and I need to talk more about it. I don't know what his thoughts are on that. Okay? Okay. Another thing that is a big issue. Investing in economic development. And this isn't giveaways to big corporations. I think we've had enough of that. We've seen it here in this county, you know, Dow DuPont, you know, they closed Prairie Brand Seeds up at Story City, they closed a place in Ames. They're just, you know, they don't care about our communities. What I would rather see is us investing smaller amounts in smaller communities. When you go door knocking and somebody tells you, you know, there's a convenience store in our town. And I'm not saying the county should, you know, operate a convenience store in Collins or, you know, something like that. But I just can't imagine in some of those small communities, and they're trying to keep them going. You know, they're doing it despite the fact that they don't have a lot of things that most of us just take for granted or just down the block. So I think we need to look at that more. I also talk a lot about investing taxpayer dollars responsibly. And I'm not a fiscal conservative necessarily, but I ran an agency for 33 years that kept getting the budget cut, especially the last 10 years. That was all it was budget cuts. And I learned how to balance budgets. I learned how to make decisions. And sometimes we had to make some really tough decisions. But some of the toughest decisions weren't necessarily because we had a budget cut. It was because we had a program that wasn't working. And we got, particularly in about the last decade I worked, we really understood, we got better at, you know, putting programs together with outcomes in mind, saying this is what we want out of this program, and then measuring the results. And if it wasn't giving the outcomes, if it wasn't performing, we either fixed it and then measured again or we closed it. I closed a very, very popular program once because it wasn't getting good outcomes. I had a judge mad at me for a very long time. But that's the way it is. You know, you need to make tough decisions. And I always told people in our agency, this is not our money we're dealing with. This is the taxpayers' money. We've been entrusted to make the best use of it that we can. We need to get the maximum good for the maximum number of people. And we need to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So we also need a living wage for everybody. So I assume everybody either read the Washington Post or the reprint of the article today in the Ames Tribune. Yesterday, pardon me. We don't get the Tribune on Sundays because we're out on the country, so I get confused. I read it online, but I don't remember. It was yesterday. Okay. So, Ames has the lowest unemployment rate in the nation, but people can't afford to live here. So one of my opponents said that a rising tide lifts all boats. I don't think that's a sound economic theory. And I would rather listen to Dave Swenson, a ISU economist, than I would rather listen to this person who thinks, oh, it'll be okay, just we just have to wait longer. We can't wait longer. No. The Republican-led legislature took away the ability for county supervisors to do a lot of things, and one of them was to set a living wage or higher minimum wage in their counties. We need to have home rule back in the counties. And finally, what I've been talking to people about is creating opportunities. And I've talked a lot about children, and it came back again with a little girl in Nevada, but children who live in not great situations, have dark moments in their lives, and really don't know where to turn to. And I don't know all the answers to this one, but I have a whole lot of energy and passion into finding some opportunities for those kids to have. They won't have normal lives, but they can have normal times in their lives. So that's why I have that little tagline on my brochure. Let's create opportunities together. So we're going to need your help in doing all this. If you didn't sign up to do something and you want to, see Carrie or email murkencampaign@gmail.com. And if door knocking is not your cup of tea and if phone calling isn't, there's lots of other stuff that you can do. Believe me, there's a lot of ways you can help, and we do need your help. Putting out yard signs after Labor Day. Let us know also if you want a yard sign. I think some of you might already have some. Somebody said, I've got yours from 2 years ago. When should I put it out? Whatever you want to. By the way, does anybody here know the one office that has never had a Democrat elected to it in the county? I know somebody besides Ted has to answer this. Treasurer. Yes, the treasurer is the only one, and we're going to get Ted elected to treasurer this year. And I have one final story. Herman had a wonderful event last Sunday, and it was to honor the Bowers, Melinda and Curtis, and also he had the Harkins there, Ruth and Tom Harkin. There was a lot of going back and kind of thinking about, talking about memories of those days when Ruth was first elected and Tom was first elected. And I had a story, and I wanted to say it. I really want to tell this story, but I said, I'll tell it now. Okay, I'll tell it this week. I went up to Ruth later, though, and I asked her, I said, Ruth, do you remember where you went out to eat? Election Day, 1972. And I have no idea. We did, but I can't remember. I said, well, you went to Tony's Little Italy. Do you remember who waited on you? And I was so excited because we had been listening to the radio, you know. So that's the Harkins, that's the Harkins. I'm going to wait on them. That's my station. You can't go there. I'm going to wait on them. So I got over there, and I just was falling all over myself. You know, I was pretty young. I was 3, no. But kind of falling over myself, talking to Ruth, and just said, oh, Ruth, I'm so happy. You know, woman, a Democrat, county attorney, I'm just so happy. And then I realized, you know, Tom's sitting there, so I kind of have to say, I'm really sorry, Tom, maybe next time. Well, you know what? I thought about that last Sunday. And I thought, I wonder how many people in this room, if it hadn't been brought up, would know that Tom Harkin lost his first election. 5? There were very few. So you think about that. So, I didn't make it last time. We'll make it this time. Thank you.